Since launching in 1987, the Final Fantasy series has released a number of beloved, high-quality games. The graphics are artistic, the stories are epic and cinematic, and the characters are interesting and endearing. Such as the ones I'm going to list here. Here are the top 10 ladies of Final Fantasy. To qualify for this list, a character needs to be female, duh, and she needs to be interesting and a vital element of the story of her respective game. In case you're wondering, sex appeal plays a very distant factor. It's still a factor, I guess, but it's barely there. And the character must come from the core series, not any of the spin-off games. Let's start with a lady who wants to be a dude. More specifically, Faris wanted to be a pirate captain, and she did become one, and in order to do that, she resorted to cross-dressing. I confess, I was totally fooled into believing Faris was a man, until it was explained outright. When Bartz blushed at her sleeping form, I just chalked it up to the inherent wackiness of JRPGs. I didn't pick Lulu because of her obvious assets. I didn't pick her because she looks like an extra in a Nine Inch Nails video. I picked Lulu because she has an important role to play. You see, in Final Fantasy X, there are these two guys who are such complete idiots that someone needs to point out how idiotic they are. That someone happens to be Lulu.
Don't tell Wakka about Yuna's lineage. The thing about Wakka, he never had much love for the Abed.
I gotta tell Wakka.
I thought I told you not to tell Wakka.
True, she could have performed her role better, and she did end up marrying one of those idiots, but really, you should take pity on her. She has to be a voice of reason amid a chorus of madness. And would someone please give her a staff or a wand? That stuffed toy makes her look juvenile. You first see Rydia as a little girl after you unwantedly burn down her village. Now there's a good start. The two of you come to a mutual agreement and you travel together, until Rydia gets sucked into a whirlpool. Nice going, Slick. When you next see her, she's an adult who can summon monsters. Cool. It turns out she was in another dimension where time runs faster than normal. She now looks like Poison Ivy if Poison Ivy was actually in a good movie. Maybe if Rydia was injected with more personality, she'd be higher on this list. As it is, she fits well in number 8. I suppose I should mention Rosa from Final Fantasy IV, because if I don't, someone else will. Yes, she's brave and a competent healer, but beyond that, there's not much to her. She mostly serves as a simple love interest. She gets kidnapped, you rush to save her, she's involved in a love triangle. It's not enough to get her on this list. Tifa can kick your ass 6 ways to Sunday, and then she'd only be warmed up. With her martial arts skills and flattering figure, you'd think she accidentally dropped out of a Dead or Alive game. She's not all about ass-kicking though. She works to help our main hero, Cloud, find out why he's so messed up in the head. She does, however, come perilously close to Rosa's situation, in which she's a mere love interest. At least she's no pushover, that's her saving grace. Yeah, it's Kuja! At least, I think Kuja's a lady. On second thought... Renoa is someone who's trying to bite off more than she can chew. She wants nothing less than the liberation of her hometown from an oppressive regime. She rallies some guys who are probably old classmates from grade school and hires some fresh-faced military academics to kidnap the president of this regime. Sure, most likely SEAL Team 10 would burst in and blow everyone away, but you gotta admire her gumption. She's got balls of brass! More importantly, Renoa has the unenviable task of making the main hero, Squall, come out of his shell, so he can, save the world and stuff. Ultimately, she makes Squall fall head over heels for her through the power of sex! And she was able to do this even though she had previously slept with Squall's sworn enemy, Cypher! What can I say? I guess she wanted the variety pack. Yuna's story is that of a young woman who slowly gets spoiled. She starts out as someone with inner strength, someone who wishes to accomplish a great task with dignity and grace. Then she meets Titus, who teaches her how to have fun. And what's his idea of fun?
You probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
Next thing you know, she's running around in hot pants and carrying a pair of pistols. Just imagine Sister Maria turning into Lara Croft. Yuna certainly serves as an interesting study of the evolution of a character. So far, we've seen ladies who can kick a whole lot of ass. Terra is no exception, but unlike the others, she's awfully shy about it. Terra is a mystery, even unto herself. As the game goes on, you peel away the mystery layer by layer until you finally discover that Terra is actually a man! Oh, come on, you know that's hot. Terra is a very gentle and confused soul who asks questions such as, why am I here? What is my purpose in life? What is love, and can I ever love someone? Yes, she's looking for love, yet she never becomes a simple love interest. Her path to discovery runs a little deeper than that. Oh, and she can turn into a pink hellion and fly around and stuff. And she went green long before Lady Gaga ever did. I'll leave it to you to figure out what's up with that. Guess what? Lightning can kick ass! She also starts off as kind of a jerk. True, she's fighting to save her sister, but her heart is pure ice. She's the Ice Queen! But before you rule her out as just another man with breasts, she begins to show a soft side. She at first wants nothing to do with young Hope. She'd rather throw him to the hounds than babysit him. But then she takes pity on him, and she teaches him how to kill and wield a knife and take point. At some point, she realizes she's spoiling a gentle soul, and she starts to encourage him to not harbor hate in his heart. Final Fantasy games are all about fighting, of course, so the series needs characters who can kick butt. Lightning ultimately proves she can do that, as well as promote understanding and tolerance. Multifaceted characters like her are more interesting and endearing than one-dimensional ones. But before you believe she's getting too soft, she returns as a feather-clad gladiator. In a title called Final Fantasy, this seems rather appropriate. Lightning's sister, Sarah, also stars in the sequel, and she actually upstages Lightning because she can do this. Excellent. Here's another case of a character undergoing an interesting evolution. Celise is a former general of the Gestalt Empire. She found out that another military leader was going to poison hundreds of civilians, so she tried to stop him and got thrown in prison for it. Yikes. Her troops can call her boss all they want, they're really lying through their teeth. She joins the resistance movement, for shits and giggles I think, and you get the feeling there's a budding love connection between her and Locke, the guy who freed her. At one point, Locke convinces her to stand in for a famous opera singer in order to foil a kidnapping plot. So Celise, a former general mind you, performs her heart out in an opera. This scene is incredibly melodramatic, and it has the potential of becoming the butt of many jokes for years to come. However,
My hero, my
my god, my eyes! They're leaking! Later, you begin to wonder where Celise's loyalty lies, with the Empire or the Resistance. With Resistance, it seems like. However, on a floating island, there comes a moment, however brief, when Celise actually considers slaying her companions in order to win back the Emperor's favor. Holy crap! WTF, mofo! I can't believe I just said that. And then the friggin' apocalypse happens, and you have to rebuild your entire team, starting with Celise on a solitary island. Do you see now why she's at number 2? If I could change something about Celise, I'd make her into more of a hard ass. She was a former general after all. To become a general, she had to have made some tough decisions, such as whether or not to serve an old man who wants her to procreate with an insane clown. So Celise is pretty fascinating and complex, but there is of course only one lady of Final Fantasy who's a perfect fit for the number 1 spot. There is some controversy over what gender Quinn is, but it looks female to me, so into this list she goes. Like Terra, Quina is a complete mystery, but as the game goes on, it becomes quite clear what Quina is. A living, breathing garbage disposal. She eats anything put in front of her. With a character trait like that, who needs stuff like backstory, personality, or even comprehensive dialogue? You do know I'm kidding, right? I mean, there's no way I could be serious about this. I'm not nearly that suicidal. At first glance, Eris may seem like nothing special. She just seems like a girly girl in a pink dress who sells flowers on the street. But look at her feet. Are those high heels she's wearing? No, she's wearing hiking boots, because you can't traipse around the slums of Midgar in high heels. So Eris wants to look pretty, but she's sensible too. She's not an aggressive fighter like most of the others on this list. She's mostly a supporting character who can handle magic and healing duty. At one point, she asks Cloud, the main hero, to be her bodyguard because some shifty G-men are out to nab her. She's also sought by Sephiroth, a dude with enough hair to make a Christmas sweater out of. But despite her supportive status, she isn't a shrinking violet. She has the confidence and inner strength to rough out bad situations and adapt to new circumstances. She may be a burden at times, but you, the player, may not mind so much if you have to protect her. She's the last of the Cetera, after all, a people and culture which is nearly all gone. Surely you wouldn't start beating on her and cause her to wander off on her own, and then you find her at a strange place and... What the hell? Was that supposed to happen? Did I just lose the game? I lost the game, didn't I? I mean, I had to have. No, I didn't. Eris was actually supposed to die, a development that shocked me and millions of players around the globe. The death of a playable character had happened before in other games, but those characters were usually seasoned warriors or old men, or both. Not a cute girl who happens to be the last of her people. It's kind of sad that the number 1 lady is the most notable because of her death, but that's just the way it goes. This death scene touched players on a deep level, and it made Sephiroth one of the most notorious villains in all of video games. Players posted sad love poems on blog sites and made crazy-ass fan art. Even to this day, if you mention the name Eris to a gamer 25 years or older, they'll start blubbering like a baby. Oh, sweet Eris, you were taken away too early. You had deep green eyes and brown hair that was curly. If you were in another game, perhaps you'd still be here. But as it is, you shall never again know fear. Goodbye, Eris. We know you're in a better place. Within our hearts, there's always room for your delightful face. God, I need a girlfriend.